Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Tea Hour 999. I am here with my long awaited experience of getting to be with Angie Ford all over again. This is very happy for me. Peter had gotten stuck in a reading, and Julian will be with us in a little bit. So, Angie and I are going to start it off with you guys. We have Joanna here with us tonight. Hi, Joanna. Nice to see you. And we're just going to get things started. So, hi, Angela.
Hello.
And how are you doing?
Good.
I'm glad to hear that. So, this is a really dynamic time. The point of having this podcast was actually inspired to me from Peter, where he had said, Theresa, I have so many clients who are calling me. They're worried about Trump. They're worried about the economy. They're worried. Hi, Denise. They're worried about the economy. They're worried about where we're going from here. I'd like to do a podcast that can address the fear that people are feeling. And I said, well, I think it'd be really great if we could talk about the astrology of this next year coming. I'd like it if we could speak about the numerology of next year coming. And then, you have this beautiful background in so many arenas: Stargate, working with the CIA, working with the Department of Defense, the remote viewing that you do, and just all these tidbits between where your experience lies and your own gifts. So I guess the first question that I feel like is what do you feel in response to these things that Peter's, the individuals that he reads for, the people, what would be your response to the people in these ideas?
I would ask them who they voted for. I would ask them first who they voted for. I think before the election, everybody was just so tired of the administration, and of course they want to change. So now Trump is in, and it seems like as soon as Trump got in, then everybody got worried. And why are you worried now? You should have been worried before the election.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that he comes out and he's going to drain the swamp. He's got to get rid of these federal employees. They're just too many, and he can't do what he really can't do that, because federal employees have rights. They're vetted into the system. And if he would fire all of them, like they said with the one, I guess they were going to get rid of a whole department over at FDA, the federal FDA, these people could actually sue the government for
Right.
losing their job. I mean, they could actually sue the government. So what do you want? Do you want to lose? Does the government want to lose, do they want to be tied up in legal cases with government employees for years and years and years and lose money? And there's ways that you can, I guess, as they say, drain the swamp, is that if people retire, let them retire and don't replace them. You can also offer early outs for people who may want to retire. You could offer them an early out and still they could retire with full benefits. You would not don't hire anybody new to come in, and stop giving pay raises. Now, it would take about 5 to 6, 7 years before you would feel the effect of the downsizing of the federal government, but it would be more of it's illegal to do that, and it's more productive. So I don't think he came off saying things that he was going to do, and I don't think he's going to be able to do all that he says he's going to do. And I know people can say that they get upset because the federal government is, it is dysfunctional. And yes, and it probably is overloaded, but it's a bureaucracy. And you have bureaucracies in the education system. You have bureaucracies in hospitals. If you have a bureaucracy, you're going to have the same problems. The same problems arise. So the problems that the federal government has, it's not the only agency or agencies that have these problems. It's a bureaucracy. So, and bureaucracies are everywhere. So I don't think he's going to be able to drain the swamp like he said he was going to do. I know that even though the Republicans are in control of the House and the Senate, I don't think he doesn't have a mandate. Because it's still close enough in the House between the Democrats and Republicans. So he doesn't have the mandate that he thinks he has, and that was shown to him whenever Elon Musk didn't like the
silent introduction. Hi, Peter.
Hello, sorry about that. Nature called.
That's okay. I had told everybody that you are in the middle of a reading, so I'm glad that your reading went well.
Yes, and oh, my wonderful friend is here.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Sorry to be late.
Oh, that's okay.
Better late than never.
Absolutely.
Especially with you, Peter.
You never know with me.
I'm glad that you're here. So I got the party started, or Angela and I did. I said, what, you are the one who came up with this idea because of the individuals who have been coming to you, who you've been reading for a while, and expressing to you, what's Trump going to do, what's the economy going to be, just with a lot of fear. And that the purpose of this podcast was to address what's going on with all of our different modalities of expertise, and how, as the American individual, can we navigate this new experience independently as well as together with more confidence and security rather than a feeling of fear and doubt and unsureness. So I said, you're going to present to us the astrology of the coming year ahead. Julian's doing it in the numbers, and Angela, we haven't even gotten into Stargate yet, but she was just giving us like a background of, a little bit of her vantage points that she can be aware of to just kind of start things off. So now you're all caught up, Peter.
Okay, very good.
All right, okay. So I'm sorry to interrupt, Angie. Where were you?
I guess that Trump doesn't have a mandate. He doesn't have the mandate in Congress that he thinks he has. Mm-hmm. However, he does have Congress. He does have enough support in Congress. And when he first got elected, Bannon, I don't know who, remember Bannon? He was he was Trump's pal in the first go around. They started this thing where they wanted Trump to run for another term after this term, because they said that he didn't win consecutively. In other words, he did 4 years, then there was a break, and now he's doing 4 years.
Right.
And it wasn't a consecutive 4 years. So they started this. Well, he can run again because it wasn't 4 consecutive years. Well, they had to check the Constitution, and the Constitution said, no, it's 8 years. No matter how it happens, a president can only serve for 8 years.
That's right.
Now, yeah, and they checked it, but they were getting willing. I mean, now could Trump go to the Supreme Court and have them change that? Who knows? That's something to watch out for. And I don't understand why when Elon Musk went and tried to have the budget, he wanted to stop the budget because Trump didn't like it, because he wanted the debt ceiling raised. And they came back. Congress came back and did not agree. So I think that was pretty good. And I guess what were they doing? Threatening, if you don't do this, we're not going to support you, or we're not going to give you money for your reelection. Like I mean, that's bullying. That's bullying. So I don't know. I mean, and what president-elect or president ever talked about trying to get Canada or Denmark or Greenland to be another state and change the name of
Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico.
I mean,
he's America.
He's narcissistic, and they have different personalities. But I don't know. I mean, I think that the states are doing something to try to protect their immigrants, because Trump felt that if a child was born and the father was American, if one parent was American but the other was Hispanic and not an American, not born in America, he wanted the child to be sent back. You can't. That's not going to happen.
The rationale. Do I have enough time to get my astrology book? Because I'm going to need it.
Yes, please, because I'm looking forward to your presentation for us tonight, Peter.
Oh, okay.
And Joanna says hi, Peter.
Who does?
Joanna McNally's here with us.
Oh, wonderful.
And
Thank
Miss
you.
Denise, my bestie Denise, who stayed with me this afternoon while I was having my earlier live time. So love you, Denise. I'm glad that we got to spend some of the afternoon together. And Miss Lisa's here with us. Who else we have? Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So, I thought it was interesting. I had this fantastic conversation with somebody. First, the conversation started out in a way that I didn't really see where it was coming from. And then as we got to flesh it out more, I had a better understanding. And it was my first time really taking in what has been going on with Peter on a firsthand level. The individual I spoke to was like, I'm afraid of him becoming a dictator. He wants to become a dictator.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like him. And I was like, why do you think he wants to become a dictator? And well, that's why he's good with Putin and the guy from North Korea. And, did you think that the things that they just had that payout on Fox News that they never tampered with the voting system when it was between Trump and Biden, and that it was all false information. And that was a big thing for me that I had gotten upset about. And I thought I had done my homework well enough that, I would not be surprised if they tampered with the voting. And apparently I didn't do that good of a job, because he was saying, well, where's the evidence for it? And I was like, it's very hard. I shouldn't say hard. It's hard for the American people who are not in the collection of every state. I may be able to go through New York, and that would be a task all on its own to count all the votes and make sure that it was fair. But I can't go throughout the entire United States, count all the votes and make it fair. But it was always a little chip on my shoulder, I guess, because I said, I understand they have all these things with Trump. Trump did this, Trump did that, what a bad guy. But what I did not understand was that if Biden did tamper with it and it was proven that Biden tampered with the voting, how could he still be in office?
Okay, we mean when Biden, they're saying that Biden tampered with it whenever he won 4 years ago, right?
When he won the election, they said that it was because of tampering with the voting, So I felt like, well, how come there were no, and they said somewhere along the lines after Biden was already president, they said that they had proved it. And I said, I can't understand if we can.
Yeah. Okay. What happened was that they felt that it was tampered with. So Trump wanted a recount. He had his recount in what, a couple of states?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had his recounts. And what happened is that his people went in, and apparently there were people at the polls that had to do the recount. And they did the recount, and the recount came out that Biden had won the election. Now, they gave Trump a recount. They did not give Hillary Clinton a recount.
Right.
So why would they give him a recount? But when Hillary went for it, she was blocked.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
It doesn't. So what they just found out, or what just happened, was that Fox had to pay out $787 million, I believe it was, in a lawsuit that the voting company had filed against them, saying we did what we were supposed to do. So I thought it was an interesting, and it changed my perspective a little bit. Not badly. I mean, I think my frustration as an individual when it comes to politics is that the American person does not get to have the clarity of, I mean, it's hard enough to make a decision, okay, I have this or I have that. And the fact that it's this or that, and that there's this whole independent party, but there's nowhere for that independent party to move. To me, it's like, I'm grateful that we have it, but these presidents never win. So why do we keep even introducing them as if they're an option to begin with? It's always going to be between Democratic and Republican, unless that system itself changes. So, okay, now I got to focus between these two people. And then they kind of piggyback these two people with other things. Like we had Prop 1 in Long Island, and it was women's rights and transgender rights and elderly all in one bill. Why can't these bills be separated out so that we can, if we feel one way about one thing, then we feel another way about another thing? How come we can't get separation? So we don't get separation, we don't get transparency, and we don't get clarity, but we're supposed to make an educated decision. So I feel like, and this was part of the discussion I had with this gentleman the other night, where it's like, I, as an American, want to know the truth that the government's dealing with. And he said, do you? Because I think that the government deals with a lot more than you think you do, and you'd lose your Americana wonderment, that you wouldn't get to feel as safe in your own country as maybe you have the luxury of doing right now because of what your government conceals from you. Yeah. I was like, I'd always rather know than not know. And I feel like I would like some transparency and clarity. And we do get stuck in this wheel that politics pay for their way rather than earn their way. And I'd like to see, we expect fairness and love between each other as peoples in this country. Why can't we expect the same thing from our government? And that's just my opinion. It's an opinion, not a fact or anything else.
Well, like Biden said, he loves all the Americans. He loves all, and to be president, you have to love all the Americans.
You do
and
have to love all of them.
Yeah. He said, I love all the Americans.
So that's right.
I'm listening to the public now. I'm actually, with the calls that I'm receiving and the amount of the clients that I'm dealing with, there is a universal theme to what is going on, from the very poor to the very wealthy, and people are very angry. They're extremely angry. I have a lot of anger that is being projected at me, even for what I'm doing with the psychic work and the astrology. And I am finding that more and more people are in shock. The one word that I could use is shock, that they thought that the people of the United States would have learned by now, after going through the past 4 years when Trump was president, that we would have learned that possibly he no longer had the ability to be the commander in chief and president of the United States. And to be honest, I have people that are not only outraged, but they want to figure out ways, and they're talking to me about ways of barring him from taking office. I don't think, from when I talked to Angela and to you, I don't think we're going to have the same administration that we had when Trump was in the White House the first time. I think hopefully he has learned his lessons. I'm not quite sure yet. I do know many people now are talking about getting federal, and the clients that I'm speaking with talking about getting federal funding for the fires that are in California.
They should. FEMA. They should get that from FEMA.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, a lot of people are calling me from California and saying they're in desperate need.
FEMA should be out there on the ground.
Yes, without a doubt. So we have a lot politically that's going on with Trump being sworn in, I believe, on January 20th. And I happen to be right now, and the reason I'm saying this, I happen to be in one of the wealthiest communities in the United States, Englewood, New Jersey. I am surrounded by mansions. I'm surrounded by opulence, and I'm surrounded by money. And from what I have heard, and I'm listening to people talking, even the very wealthy that have connections with Washington, they're even very nervous about what we are about to see. But I think it's education, it's inflation with food prices. When we go out, it's the prices, everything is going up. And what is going to be, I am an eternal optimist, and I am praying to my guides that we do collectively, and I want to say collectively as a republic, which this country is supposed to be, that we will be seeing, positive changes that are going to be happening. In June, we have Jupiter, one of the largest planets in the solar system, going into Cancer. And that has to do with homes, buying. I'm sure the two of you know by now that we have a housing shortage throughout the United States and the world. There's a housing shortage. There aren't enough homes to supply the demand for people that want to buy. There aren't enough rentals. So we're really in a very perplexed, difficult situation with the economy. And astrologically, where I am now, I was telling my family, extended family, they don't want to hear about it. They are so mad. They're telling me that you need 2 and 3 jobs right now to just get by. And
That's right.
I'm listening to other people, and they're telling me they're working 2 and 3 jobs. So what do we do about it?
Well, my question to you, Peter, is we have Julian who's going to be joining us in about 10 minutes. So I'd like to take this time to focus on the astrology, because it seems like there was a lot of support behind Harris as well as Trump. And then, okay, so here's my thing that we kind of discussed. What does Harris's birth chart look like? What does Trump's birth chart look like? Why was the astrology supportive of Trump winning? And what does the astrology look like for this year coming up? Or what are some keynote parts of the astrology coming up that we can look to what we can expect? And I will say, just before you get started, the energy is changing. And my personal psychic feeling on it is that we're heading into we've been talking about this all last year, but we're heading into a very new time. And I think now we see the energy being presented. And I think when we talk about energy and the split between 3D and 5D, or the earth, I think what people expect is to see like the sky open up or start glowing a certain color or something. They expect spiritual to feel spiritual, but sometimes the spiritual things that change or the energy shifts are exactly what we're here talking about tonight, talking about Trump or Harris, and why did Trump get into office over her, and what can we expect? And now the changes are going to play out, and we're going to see them unfolding in real time, because our government structure for so many years has been going through the same thing. And now when Pluto moved into Aquarius out of Capricorn represents the history, the structure of what used to be. And now that Aquarius swung Pluto swung full force into Aquarius, we are seeing real time what that looks like just right now. And, tell me, or tell us, if you will, what can we see, or what can we look to, for the year ahead? And why did it go this way? Why wasn't it Harris over Trump,
All right. First of all, the guys are telling me to tell the public this. When it came to the point that it was being constantly on the news, pinpointed Joe Biden as having early stages of dementia and Alzheimer's, this was causing pandemonium because people felt that Biden no longer was capable of governing this country through the presidency.
That's
right. The guys were also saying to me, they very quickly had to come up with a plan for the administration and for the White House. And the plan was, at the time, we all know, to provide Kamala as a running mate in lieu of Joe Biden running again for the presidency. So the guys just said to me, that was one of the big mistakes. They didn't feel she had the capability of governing this country. And more so, the guys are telling me there's a lot of people out there that are still not ready for a female president. Look what Hillary Clinton had gone through when she was trying to win the Oval Office. So the guy just said to me, it's more reflective of where we are in the United States today. And they felt she had two things against her, 2 points against her, being a female and also choosing her as the running mate. Now, the other thing I wanted to say to you is this. Trump actually has Pluto right now smack on his part of fortune in his chart. And when Pluto is conjuncting your part of fortune, it actually means that things are going to be unfolding for you, because the part of fortune is one of the strongest aspects in your chart. I also wanted to say to you, Trump has something going for him that I don't think Kamala did. And what he has going for him, he is into, I would say, demagoguery. And a lot of people that don't know what demagoguery is, he knows how to cater to the public and the masses. He will pretty much tell you in his speeches, impromptu, that he is going to change everything, that he is going to eliminate the migration, and he's going to send the illegal immigrants back to their own countries. He is going to change the economy. He is going to bring down gas prices. He's going to bring down the interest rates on housing. President Trump has learned exactly not only how to cater to the masses, but he instills fear into the masses. She is, in my opinion, a much more forthright, honest type of individual, and she was using that to her advantage. Donald Trump would have done anything, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to put my reputation online. He would have done anything to win the Oval Office back. And I believe, including, and people may disagree, including trying to work with China, trying to work with Russia, because he, in many ways, and I see him as a despot. Maybe I shouldn't use the word. He loves tyrants. He loves people that are in authority. And Donald Trump has an incredible natal chart. He also has Jupiter right now in his 10th house, and Jupiter is in the sign. Oh, welcome to the show, Julian.
How are you? I'm walking in the streets of New York. I'm running a little late.
Okay. Well, I do want to welcome you to the show, our wonderful show. Donald Trump has a Sag interception and a Gemini interception, and Jupiter is in his 10th house. When Jupiter triggered off his entire chart, and it would take me an hour and a half to explain this whole thing, I believe at that time he needed, correct me if I'm wrong, 270 electoral votes to win the presidency.
Yes.
All the how do I put this? The guys are saying to me all the information and all the promises that he was making to correct our economy, and he was really, in many ways, trying to make a mockery out of Joe Biden. I respected Joe Biden, and I respect Kamala also. But I think right now, and correct me, Angela, if you think I'm wrong, we are a laughing stock of the world. We have lost so much of our credibility that I really think we need a very strong leader back in the White House. And as much as I hate to admit it, when he was in the White House, prices were down. They were consuming, gas prices were down, food prices were down. So it is up to a much higher power.
Yeah, they were down, but they were down, and that was before COVID. And then COVID came, and everything went back. I mean, even when Biden came in, we were still having the effects of COVID. So you had ships couldn't get in. They couldn't get from California to the East Coast. Everything had to be brought in by trucks. You needed a piece here for something. Something else had to be brought in here. So yes, but by the time COVID came and Trump left, Biden was still dealing with COVID. And that's why everything went up. And as far as oil prices, we are digging oil in the United States more now under Biden than we did under Trump.
Right. I agree with that. But the guys are saying to me at this point, it's fait accompli. We have him as our president-elect. We're going to have to work with him. I also want to say to you, and I'm going to say this to the public, I don't feel he is going to be able to fulfill the 4 years that he was reelected for. I do feel that something is going to happen health-wise, and I don't think he is going to be able to fulfill his position. But the guys are also saying to me that Joe Biden, they don't feel Joe Biden really has that much longer here. And the one thing that they're showing me, and I want to say this, I may bounce back and forth, I think in the United States that we may end up having an insurrection as we did in 1776, because I have so many people that I'm dealing with on an everyday level. They're wealthy. The Republicans, a lot of Republicans are scared. The Democrats are scared. People that I know that are worth in the millions of dollars, they're afraid. Everybody's afraid that with Congress, I think, that is Republican right now. They are all afraid that we are going to go into a totalitarian or fascist government, and even the very wealthy are worried about that now. And I had a long talk with Angela because of her wonderful political background, and I had a talk with, I think, you, Theresa, and I felt that we really don't have to worry about that. But right now, we're really in untried territory. We've never really had this before. The last time I think we had this before was in 1776, when the United States broke away from, what was it, King George III?
That's right.
Yeah. So
I mean, but every year California votes on whether they're gonna succeed from the United States and be their own country. I mean, it could be California. Who knows?
It could be. Yeah.
California could become their own country. California is self-sustaining. They don't. They can. And every year they vote.
Yes. So the guides keep on saying to me, and I believe this, I do feel that we have to wait to see what the administration is about to do. And the guy just said to me, my guides are telling me they are coming back. They're here to make sure that our country is run smoothly and that we are able to get our economy globally, and they're saying globally, back on par, in order to provide every American with the same civil rights that we've always had. And a lot of people are complaining to me they can't afford houses and they can't afford apartments. So Trump is going to really have a lot to work with and try and resolve with his administration. Astrologically, it looks like we're in a, I believe we're in a 9-year. Julian, are we
Yeah,
in
I'm
a
here.
9 year?
I'm listening.
We're in a number 9 year.
Yes.
So Julian, because we were able to do the podcast last week together, did
Yes.
bring a lot of ease through talking about the numbers. We did focus more on numerology and where we were than where we were going in 2025.
Yes.
But, it is still relevant for us to talk about the year ahead. We're in a 9, and and I'd like to kind of add this as a point of contact. We're talking about how the astrology is changing so much. Jupiter is shifting into Cancer in the month of June. Pluto has just come out of Aquarius. When Pluto came out of Aquarius,
Pluto came out of Capricorn.
I'm sorry, Pluto came out of Capricorn. Thank you for the catch.
Yes.
And went into Aquarius. That is not a kitten glove situation.
No.
It is a big deal, and it stays like that for 20 years. And
It's
that reason why,
yes, for 20 years.
20 years. So
Pluto,
when we keep,
go ahead, sweetie. I didn't want to interrupt
when we keep talking about these things and expressing the importance, it's that we see this coming. I want to say that it was back in like this spring when I was really feeling the big energy shifts that were taking place. I was getting downloads even at the grocery store about like, wow, this is happening. The energy is changing. Things are shifting. This is powerful. And I had friends calling me or people that I read for calling me saying, Theresa, I feel something. Do you feel that? Do I feel this? Do you feel this? And I said, yeah, I feel this. And they told me, my guides were saying to me, Theresa, get ready. This is just the beginning of this wave that's coming, and you're going to need to be ready and willing to catch this wave. So with that in mind, I've been very grounded and paying attention. And because I've had more time on my hands from being out of work by focusing on this situation, I've been able to meditate over these things and put these pieces together for myself. So, I mean, this comes back to things that you guys are saying. You're saying that with conviction and certainty, Biden this and Trump that. And I'm not saying that you guys don't know those things, but what I am saying is that for the American individual, what do we spend a majority of our time doing? If we are working, we're doing 40 hours a week at work. What do we have the time to watch the news or be relevant in what's going on? Now, say you have to work more than 40 hours a week. Let's say it's 60 hours a week. So we have 60 hours at work. And what do most people want to do when they're done being at work? They want to go home. They want to eat something. They want to relax. Maybe they're watching, maybe they're watching the news. Maybe they're not. If the news isn't telling them the truth, then they are not correctly informed. So, poo-poo on Fox for not telling the truth to begin with, but they're not the only one either. So now if we can't, and news itself, it doesn't always talk about the good things that are happening on Long Island. And that's why I'm not entirely a fan of the news in a lot of ways, because I want to hear the stuff that's happening. I want to hear the stuff that they're not talking about. And I want to hear the good things that are also going on in the community that I don't see enough of to warrant me watching the news. So I try to go on search engines that are showing me truthful news. And there's things that I'm constantly finding out from people that are not publicly posted because of something hiding from somewhere. So it's like, I want to come back to a place where we're talking or addressing how to not be in fear for the year ahead. And we'll say, we'll let go and let God, and we'll all pray for the fifth dimension. But one thing I want to mention before you guys really take off with numerology and astrology is the independent person doing their self-work, getting into alignment, praying, making a relationship between source and themselves impacts the collective. For all the people that are willing to take responsibility for themselves and pull themselves out of fear and doubt and anger and frustration, if you could pull yourself out of those emotions and pull yourself into a practice that gets you to a place of knowing and trust and knowing that source will take care of us and provide for us, not in a Pollyanna way, but in a way that the reason why I'm offering this is because this is the stuff that works. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are not humans having a spiritual experience. But for some reason, and I think this is a really good time to evaluate this, us even talking about the presidency and the election and what's going on here and there, we're paying attention to what's going on in the world rather than living of the world and bringing this spirituality into the world and saying, well, I have the power to create change by simply praying for the light and bringing the light in. What would the world look like instead of generating fear and anger around the election if we all started praying for the light to come in? What world would we then be living in?
Well, I want to say this to you. I totally agree with you, Theresa. And when people bring up the astrology to me, I don't think astrology is the end all of knowing all. Astrology is based on free will. A lot of people would argue with me, and I have arguments about it, but I really feel astrology does have free will. And frankly, his chart was more powerful because he's already been in the White House once. And I want to really say, from what I'm feeling intuitively and what the guys are saying to me, I think we're going to have a very positive change. I really do.
I feel the same way. That's the energy that I feel the most of, is
Yes.
big, progressive, positive changes.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't care what's going on with the politics. I'm paying attention to the energy that I've been tapping into, and things are going to change. And even if we have a little bit of weirdness before we get to that place of that we all feel comfortable being in, or most of us feel comfortable being in, the change has to precede what comes, you know? So it's us being comfortable with the change too. How do we get comfortable with change? We get into alignment with ourself and our source to help navigate the road ahead.
Exactly. I keep on telling people, stop focusing in on Trump being reelected. I keep on telling people, let's focus on us as a population globally, for us to work together to change the awareness and to change the energy. That is where I am since the election. I believe on a global level, with Pluto going from Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, into Pluto going into Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and Saturn, this is going to be earth shattering. This is going to be mind boggling because of the fact that we're going into a period of higher levels of consciousness. We're going into a period of greater degrees of technology, breakthroughs in medicine, breakthroughs in the economy. More and more people are saying, all right, now that I've made money, and where do I start investing? Although I am not a financial astrologer, but I am telling people, if you have money to invest, look at technology, look at medicine, look at gold, silver, whatever. But I truthfully feel in my own soul, and I want to say this, Capricorn can be a very depressing sign. It is a cardinal earth sign ruled by Saturn, and it gives us structure and it gives us lessons to learn. Where Aquarius is, let's take off the straitjacket right now and let's just go, and let's go and have fun, and let's do and achieve. We're in one of the most wonderful periods right now, with Jupiter being in Gemini and Pluto being in Aquarius. And in his chart, there's a trine here between his North Node and part of fortune. I really believe that if we support Trump in his policies that make sense, unlike renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, I don't personally care to even do that, but I think we have to come together and support our government and the president in order to achieve what we need to achieve. And that's where I am now. I have spent so much time arguing about Trump and where the government and where the economy is going. And I think we may have better relations with China, with Japan, with South Korea, with North Korea, Mexico. We need global change. So I'm going to say
yeah, but if he has the high import taxes, we're not going to be friends. I mean, he wants high import taxes. So
yes,
how
I understand. Yes.
I mean, that's not, I mean, he messed with China before. The last time he was president. He had high, whatever, he made China pay high.
He raised the tariffs. But we were paying high tariffs too. He just leveled out the field.
And China turned their back on us and did not buy the wheat from the farmers, and then the farmers. So, and if anything, Trump knows more what he's doing this time around than he did the last time.
Correct.
The last time he saved the rich people from paying taxes.
Yes.
He messed around with China. What's going to happen is it's going to get better, not because of Trump. It's going to get better because the United States cannot be we're not self-sufficient. Whether you think we're the greatest nation on earth, we are not self-sufficient. We need minerals. We need things from other countries. China is not self-sufficient. China that doesn't have, they're in the same shape as we are. They don't have good resources. They can't do copper mining because they ruin their soil. They mine so much that it's no good. It's the same as us. We have to go out and get what we need to bring into our country to be self-sufficient. It's the same thing with China. They have to go out. They're going to Afghanistan to try to dig up a large copper mine. So it's these things will get better, not because of Trump. They will be better because of because of what is going to be needed. And it's when the Soviet Union fell in 1991, it didn't fall because Gorbachev and all the political leaders said, "Hey, this communism sucks. We should have democracy." It didn't fall because of that. It fell because of economic reasons. They had to get out of, they needed the West to get they were starving. People in the Soviet Union were starving. So it will get better, but it's not going to get better because of Trump. It's going to get better because it needs to get better.
I also think there's an energy supporting us to get better.
I'm laughing.
That's right.
Because, I'm laughing because we've already seen in the last, and we've only been in this year for 9 days. And already we've seen the opportunities and challenges taking place.
Yes.
In our country. We've seen what just occurred and what is occurring in Los Angeles.
Exactly. Yes.
We're seeing what has been happening with drones flying everywhere in Jersey and the rest of the world. We've seen where Donald Trump has been speaking out about different things, as well as you said, Peter, he wants to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Yes.
And that's a long range plan that I knew about in the 70s when I was reading and hearing, and I was in college, the fact that they eventually want Canada, United States, and the Americas as one union. They want Europe and the EU to be another union. They want Soviet Union and their countries to be one union. And it's like all these unions, and eventually all the unions become one union, and that's the world government. That's what they want. So what's interesting about the nine is globality. It is humanity. It's one with the top zero, one with higher self, or one with God consciousness, one with source. In order to understand and know more about this year being 2025, the fact that we're in the United States of America and July 4th, and the last birthday was 2024, which comes out to an 11/8/19 So we have America being in a 1 personal year, in this 9 globally. And what do all these numbers mean? It means the fact that in order for us to be one with higher mind, one with infinite mind, one with unconditional love, one with all of this energy that the 9 represents, it's important that we be clean, cleansed with ourselves, physically, mentally, emotionally, intuitively, in every which way. And one of the things is to surrender and to be adaptable and free, because the 9, as I've already experienced in the last days, is a very unpredictable energy. Unpredictable. So when things are happening in that way, it's important that we have some sort of peace and harmony with ourselves, so we can deal with the unpredictability, so we can deal with the emergency, so we can deal with whatever it is that's going to happen or has happened. Or we picked up the phone and we just heard that someone just was rear-ended, as I did today. Or my friends in Sherman Oaks are saying embers are flying over Studio City and Studio City is burning. Or in Palisades, it was a mess. Or the cars that were abandoned on the highway being told, get out of your cars and just take what you need. And people were walking, not knowing where they were walking. We're talking about a faith in that higher zero, a faith in God consciousness, a faith with yourself and infinite mind, infinite love, infinite everything. And to come from that place of knowing how to stand and what to do in that present moment, you better be aligned.
Yes.
Because if you're not aligned, you're going to be physically or psychologically, or on some level, you're not going to be able to withstand the frequencies, because the frequencies are being raised in every which way, in a positive way as well as in a negative
way.
It's more intense than ever before.
Ever.
And this is something that Denise said when we did the interview with Denise, where she said, I was a witness to the Twin Towers. And when I witnessed the Twin Towers fall, I had no idea what to do. I was stunned that I was alive. I was stunned that it happened. I had to walk myself to, I believe she said it, Denise, correct me on this, her brother-in-law's store. She didn't know the direction. She didn't know how to get there. She prayed, and she was able to get there just by being guided to the place. Her father called her when she was there, and she was alive. And she said, I got there purely on faith. I was stunned what happened. And that is a small example on what the big picture is for all of us. So I see
the big picture also is not only now that you understand and know the fact that you're one with higher mind, one with that energy of that beacon, because the 9 also is light. In tarot, it's known as the hermit. The hermit is holding the lantern of universal consciousness going out into the cities and the villages. It's about community. One of the things that Los Angeles is really learning, as well as we're all going to be challenged, as well as having the opportunities, is working with each other.
Yeah,
I don't care if you're for Trump, for Biden, if you're a fascist, if you're a Zionist, if you're a communist.
Yeah.
if you're whatever you are, you better learn how to get along with someone who has different ideas, a different philosophy, a different way of them speaking or living or eating or whatever. As long as they're not showing any kind of aggression towards you, it's important that you understand and know that we're being put together in a way where it's time for us to talk to each other.
Each other.
That's right.
And to feel each other and to listen to each other. And it's okay to even debate or say, you know what? No, I feel this. Oh, okay. To listen to each other without battering each other on their heads.
That's right. And
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
I just want to say this one quick thing, Peter. There was a post that was made around the time of the election, and it said, "We have been taught throughout our communities and society, do not talk about religion, do not talk about government, do not talk about politics, do not talk about..." If we don't talk about it, we don't know how to talk about it with each other. So we have all these emotions, but we don't know where to put them. And it is like Peter, you said it earlier. Jupiter is in Gemini right now. What is the thing with Gemini energy? To talk, to connect,
to communicate.
To listen.
Yes.
It's like a renaissance of time, and we're in retrograde right now, but we will be out of retrograde later this year. This retrograde is to go within. What are our prejudices? What are our barriers to love? What is our openness to love? Jupiter is asking us to tend the garden inside, so that midway this year, when she's ready to swing back into going direct, it's going to explode. So when I see these situations happening, I don't take them at face value. I say, what's the bigger picture in and behind them? Because that's also something very important to do as a skill for anything in life. That allows us to bridge. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I wanted to say to you as an example, as we're talking tonight, I'm actually staying with extended family for a while until it gets warmer up in Maine. And I have been meditating every day, and I have been talking about collective consciousness, and I've been talking about the congruency of us all in solidarity coming together. And my dear family, who is my extended family, said, "You're nuts. Why are you talking about guardian angels? Why are you talking about meditation? Why are you talking about my God doesn't believe in this?" And I said, "Excuse me?" And they said, "My God is laughing at you. None of this is really, how long have you been stuck in this fantasy world?" And I said, "Your God? I thought it was our God." I don't believe they're alone. I don't believe that a lot of people, and again, I'm a 9 vibration, and it's taken me many, many lifetimes to come to this. But, the message that the angels sent to me was, don't argue with them. Don't try and convince them about your views. Demonstrate to them. And the more hostile they get, and the more angry they get towards me, and the more they turn their back on me, I sat and I said, "I love you. And whatever your views are, I respect you." And as Julian was talking about, it's taken me a long time to achieve this. I don't want to try and force my ideologies or my opinions on the world. What I do know is the guides are coming back. A lot of the drones that we're seeing, I don't think are from the government. I think that the UFOs are coming from another galaxy. Now is our time, and we're doing it tonight by coming on this podcast. It's a wonderful venue for Julian, Theresa, Angela, and I to really share the views of what society, it's not just us, it's society. A lot of people don't believe in what we pontificate. A lot of people think that we are non-compass mentis, we're nuts. And I really think this year it's going to be an eye-opener. I really believe it's going to be an eye-opener where we can collectively, not only the United States, but hopefully maybe Russians, Japanese, Chinese will see our shows on YouTube and listen to them. If they, I'm sure they're bilingual, and say, gee, these people really know what is going on. And I think the more shows we have and the more Julian brings in of numerology, and Angela with her background as a remote viewer, and Theresa, your background as an intuitive and a brilliant jewelry maker, and mine as a astrologer, we need collectively all four of us to really present the truth to society. And that's really what I wanted to say, because when I get, you can tell I'm getting, my energy is going up because of the Aquarius in me. And when I listen to everybody, you all are teaching me. Every time I come on here, I don't have all the answers. I don't think any of us do. But collectively, we can help.
We all have a piece. We're all walking each other home. And when I see, Peter, I love your passion. And even Angela getting passionate before. Angela is always so calm, cool, and collected. She's like still water in a forest in the morning. So when Angela really gets that passion going, it's like, oh, whew, girl, okay, girl, let's get it. You know, I really love that.
What's important to know, how to also maintain safety.
Yes.
In your life.
Yes.
You can be howling and screaming and meditating and everything like that, and how to maintain safety. A friend of mine, and I was speaking to her about friends of mine in LA, and she goes, well, they need to shower their house with water. In Tupelo, Mississippi, we put sprinklers on top of the roofs in order to bathe the house, and that prevents fire or anything to come over the house. And it makes sense. If the house is soaked and the land around it is soaked, the fires won't come there.
Right. That's right.
So listen to all the signals and people and their experiences, and take it for yourself. There's no mistake that all these things are happening in order for us to help each other one way or another. And when it comes to the politics, just I always and Peter and I and the rest of you, I mean, we've been in politics for a long time, and not many people are changed on the higher levels of politics, talking about in regards to the CIA or FBI or the banking system. I mean, that's a whole different animal.
That's a whole new topic.
Yeah.
And yet, yes, we're going to have a new president with his ideas, and he has his history. But also, if you want to understand more of what is really happening, look at the cabinet and look at who is surrounding this man.
Yes.
Elon Musk is one of them.
Yes.
And yes, he's brilliant.
That's Aquarian right there.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant in all that. But he just came out in one of the conferences, and it's called the Futuristic Investment Initiative. And he was a guest at this conference. And he spoke, and Peter Thiel was the host of this conference. And they were talking about AI and marketing and making monies and all that. And everything from the cooks will be robots, and these people will be robots, and there'll be all these different robots. And Elon Musk himself said in 15 years, and that's 15 years, we'll have more AI robots than humans.
Than humans.
Well, you're talking about artificial intelligence, which again, I got an earful when I came down here that the artificial intelligence, the robots are going to overtake the world and we're all going to be equal as we should be. The doctors and postmen should be earning the same salaries. And I've been listening to this for about 2 weeks. And I really believe, as you mentioned, Julian, a lot of people despise the man because he's one of the wealthiest men in the world. But in our wonderful country, and I believe this to be true, we are allowed the freedom to say and become really whatever we want to become. We are all born, I believe, equal. Some of us have different charts than others. But Elon Musk and when I saw the alignment between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, I said to myself, well, this is shrewd on Donald Trump's part to now bring in Elon Musk. And he's bringing in, I think, Robert F. Kennedy. I believe he's bringing in all of these people that are connected to the oligarchy.
Yeah, but the thing about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Yes,
important. I feel that he's part of the health because the health is going to hell.
Correct.
Health is going to hell. Children are getting sick. People are getting sick. The ingredients, and one can do their own homework. Look at a cereal box here in the United States.
Horrible.
Ask a friend
Horrible.
from Europe to bring the same cereal box. Different ingredients, different chemicals, different everything, same cereal box, difference. So here in the United States, it's out of control in regards to how children, how people are being fed, the chemicals that are being given to them and everything. And I feel that Robert F. Kennedy is part of that. When it comes to Elon Musk, he's a 6/28/1971.
Yes.
So he has this passion of his six. He's here to understand how to be a father. I think he has something like 12 kids or something. He's born on the 28th, which is a high one. So not only is he a leader, but he's also very passionate in getting whatever it is that needs to be done. And at the same time, he's also 1971, a 9 there. So he is a person who has a history and he understands and knows how to deal with prosperity and money and globality and humanity. And he's a 7. So you can call him a Merlin, or you can call him a spy, or you can call him a man of many secrets, all of the above. And not many people understand or know where he's at. But again, go to Future Investment Initiative, listen to his talk that he gave a month ago to these elitists, and you'll understand more of where and what they want us to do in regards to robotics. But we're talking about in education, in medicine, in all aspects of life, and also in your own having your own personal robot.
Yes.
Having your own personal robot, because possibly your girlfriend or boyfriend or whomever jilted you, and now you're going to have your own personal robot that you can engage in, talk to, make love to, and create a future with.
Now,
Yeah.
I did want to say with Elon Musk, he's very unusual that he's got his moon 8 degrees of Virgo, 14 minutes, conjunct his part of fortune at 7 degrees, 16 minutes. And that part of fortune is square his Jupiter, his Neptune, and his Saturn. What this means is Elon Musk is very futuristic.
He's
In his
futuristic.
thinking.
He is, but he's also transhumanist.
Yes.
In regards to AI hybrid robots and us in the future. Well, not in the future now, because he's experimenting with it now with his Neuralink. But know this: anytime you hear an invention or people coming up with a discovery, know that that discovery was already made
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
Right. Well, they
It
wouldn't be
wasn't-
able to do it without it already
it-
being made.
It wasn't done last week. It wasn't done a month ago or a year ago.
Right.
So anything and everything that is being told about Neuralink and it being this new way of putting chips in your brain and all that, that's been done
Years ago. Yes.
long time ago. And it's
Yeah.
just part of the program of chipping human beings. And they're saying for the greater good, for knowledge beyond anything or anyone that they can imagine. But know this: anytime you introduce any kind of foreign subject, any kind of foreign material in the human body, there's going to be a war taking place.
Absolutely. From
And
all
that was
of your immune system.
And that was with a man called Dr. Bernard, and he was in Africa, and he was
Christian Bernard.
That's right, and he was the first person who was doing
open heart surgery. Yes,
heart transplants in the 70s.
Yes,
and how many people were sacrificed in order for now? Here it is, years later, and it's a normal procedure.
Yes,
Right. So the question is, again, how do we protect ourselves? How do we keep ourselves aligned in order to listen to the direction that is safe for us, for our family, for our children, for our community?
Agreed. So we're just running out. I have a podcast with Nancy to start at 9:00. So with our last 5 minutes together, Angela, after hearing everything that Peter and Julian has shared, it's been a minute. Would you like to weigh in on with this?
Oh, I agree with what Julian. I agree that we need to change. I mean, people are going to be different. People, I think people have to accept other people, and that's happening already. I mean, people that I don't know. I think that with the change of the Pluto going into Aquarius will help. I notice a lot of my clientele keep emailing me, and I think they're opening up ever since this shift has occurred. All of a sudden they're seeing orbs, or they're having dreams, or they're getting more psychic. So I think the shift is definitely going on. And I think that people that were not spiritual, all of a sudden are getting a little bit spiritual, and they're saying, hey, we're all connected. And these are the people that maybe they're opening up to other ways that other people in other countries do things. So, I mean, it's all on the way up, but I still don't think Trump has anything to do with it. I think it's just the way it's going to go.
I'm sorry. I was just given a message from the guide. They're also saying to me, with the new awakening, we are going to experience more of UFOs, or we call them aliens, coming back to planet Earth, and they're talking about creating hybrids. They just said creating hybrids. There's going to be more of a fusion between humans as we are now and aliens coming back. And a lot of people said to me, where are you getting this from? A George Orwell novel? I believe it's true. Yes, Angela.
Because that has to happen to make the Earth. In other words, the Earth has to heal. We need to get it right, or we're going to destroy it again. Like we did
before. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes on the horizon. The one message I keep getting over and over again when I'm having these discussions with people and I meditate on it is there's only so far something can go in an adverse direction before something happens. And usually, whether it's independently or collectively, when something goes in an adverse direction, it's because we have to learn something from it. So if we have to learn something as a collective, I want, in my own mind, and this is how I see my own life, I want to know what I have to learn from it. I want to learn it, understand it. The more emotional I get, or the more resistant or angry I get over it, the further along I will be from learning the lesson. So I practice patience. I practice doing breath techniques or meditating, because I want to understand, Source, what are you trying to teach me here? And now we're looking at a collective lesson. And we said we just entered the age of Aquarius. From the age of Aquarius, Pluto went into Aquarius. This is the great awakening. This is the shift that we're doing. And the best thing that I personally feel we can do for ourselves is if we do the work, like Julian said, about what does it mean to be in alignment, getting into alignment. And once you're there, stay there. Because if we keep giving our power away to what is being displayed on the external, either by fear mongering or, mass consciousness, not being sure, it doesn't serve us to deal in things that are already created or things that make us feel unsure. If you feed into it, now you're giving your energy to it. You have to realize how powerful you are as an independent being, and take the energy that you have, that you would use to pay attention and feed something on the outside, to nourish yourself and contribute that to to the collective. So that's why I said earlier, to be of the world but not in it. I'm not going to watch what's being created in here.
That's what Jesus said.
Every
right.
Every element, every planet, every star, every system, every alien, every race, every culture, everything is already within us.
Yes.
We're looking for the hybrid aliens. We are hybrid aliens.
That's
we
right.
are all that and more. We have been experimented with individually or in groups for
centuries,
many years. So the past, present, future is now. It's important that we realize that it's time for us to honor everything that goes into our body, from the food, from the drink, to our thoughts, to everything else. And if you're waiting for a spaceship to take you away, I would suggest be discerning and be aware, because as here on this planet Earth, there are certain people that would like to take you away, and possibly who knows what they're going to do with you in regards to either give you a hug or hug you or cook you. So what's important is to be aligned, be aware, so you and all your signals and antenna are working to God, to the universe, to whatever it is that you deserve to be doing in your journey of life, in your purposes, with your intentions, with why is it that you're here in this epic time. So we're here in this epic time because we are re-knowing. We are awakening ourselves up again from the fact that we have been Jew, Catholic, Hindu, Muslim, all this and more. And here we are within ourselves, a collective of all of these people and races and nations. Now, get over it and realize there's work to do on yourself, so you can be the example, so you can be that light, that beacon to show others the way.
People are calling it the new age. It's not the new age, it's the old. It's we've done this before. We've done this in a Shakespearean play.
So many ways.
We're now redoing. We're coming into the enlightenment. I agree with you, but so many people on this planet are going to go through the enlightenment, and the enlightenment is there is one main godly source that we are all connected to. We are humans having a godlike experience, and we're actually in a movie or a play that we are creating. Well, let's create the most terrific movie or the most terrific play that all of us can be involved in. Let's support each other, and most of all, let's love each other.
That's right.
Excellent. That is a wonderful place to cap this podcast. What an absolute pleasure it is to have taken this time together. Thank you, Angela, Julian, and Peter, for all being a part of this experience, as well as everyone who has watched and will watch. What I would just like to end on this would be, in this moment, however many energies are here in this moment right now, we can, if you feel like it, collectively hold space for the best and highest good in the fifth dimension and above to happen collectively for all beings on this planet. And that we remember love and we stand in love and remember our truth and we stand in love and truth together, and have a very blessed night and new year ahead.
Much
Thank
love.
you, everyone. Sending you all love. And the four of us will be back again with a whole new wonderful episode for you to talk about a whole bunch of new things as we continue to go through this year. Thank you for your time you spend with us.
Thank you. Blessing.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Blessings. Namaste.